Well, gracious greetings, St. Stephen family and guests. Welcome to another edition of Living Water for a Thirsty Thursday. We're going to talk about forgiveness this month, but want to build a bridge from anger that we discussed last month, especially in light of all that our country is going through right now. Prayerfully, your takeaways will be tools that will help us after the protests and speaking with our politicians and policemen. The scripture that I want to look at comes from Luke, the 6th chapter, starting at verse number 27. It says, "But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other." Now, this passage, and after marinating and contemplating everything that's going on in our country, I couldn't help but think about me. When I say me, this is what I'm speaking of. Being able to serve in the ministry for 30 years, serve here as the senior pastor for 12 years, United States Air Force for 22 years as a pilot and aircraft electrician, to be in 4 different conflicts, Desert Storm, Bosnia conflict, Iraqi freedom, as well as Afghanistan, to get a bachelor's degree, a master's of divinity degree, a doctorate of ministry degree, to serve on a couple of boards, to serve on a university board, as well as a local hospital board. But all those things, when I thought about me, there were some things that happened in the midst of that. Going back to high school as a senior, I had a job working at an ice cream place. And I made the best sundaes and banana splits and malts that could be found. But I was brought in the back and fired. And a little while later, I was told the reason I was fired was because I wasn't a good fit or a good look for clients, prospective clients that would come in and see me at the front counter. I let that go, and the next day I found a new job. Fast forward 20 years, I'm with one of my colleagues and he invites me, he's in law enforcement, he invites me to come to his office and we're gonna have lunch. And while we're at his office, he's taking me around and introducing me to all those that he serves and offers leadership. And he's introducing me as a local pastor. And I'm shaking hands and we get to this one gentleman and he would not shake my hand and kind of gave me this look. And the look is that look of disdain, if you would. And I looked at my colleague and my colleague said, "Don't worry about him. You know, he's just that guy." And I didn't say anything about that, nor did my colleague. Why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because it's helping me to see something. What is it helping me to see? A pattern of what? Then I go back to something called Columbine, if you remember, when we had so many kids that were shot and killed in a high school. We go back to Sandy Hook and we have preschoolers that were shot and killed. We have theaters where people are shot and killed, grocery stores where people are shot and killed, parties where people are shot and killed. And there was nothing done then to change the laws or to change what was going on to prevent the loss of life. And I hope you start to see the pattern. The pattern that I'm trying to develop here is that there were some people that could have intersected, and that people was me. And so it brought me to the conclusion that yes, the conclusion is I'm the problem. And when I say I'm the problem, I mean there needs to be a grassroots movement. Why do I say that? I already talked about the shootings. What about the bullyings that happen right now with our young people that are bullied and no self-image, no healthy self-worth, no self-confidence? All of those things are low because of the bullying. Not only that, how many are committing suicide? And what do we do? With all the things that I'm speaking of, there's always somebody standing by. We always now try to put out there, see something, say something. But it isn't always the case. When we were in preschool, they told us, go ahead and be a tattletale, because if it saves lives, it's worth it, which is exactly what we want to do. And so the takeaways and what I'm getting at in this text and what this text is teaching and why I know I'm the problem is because this text with the Sermon on the Mount is Jesus trying to teach us that, listen, when you are one that's trying to love your enemies, when you're trying to do good to them that hate you and bless them that curse you and pray for them to despitefully use you and give the other cheek, he's telling you, I'm trying to get you to do what isn't easy to do. That we can't be silent, that we have to speak out. And so it's great to protest. It's great to talk with the police. It's great to talk with our politicians. It's great to have dialogue. But the next step has to be admission that I am part of the problem. Like that old saying, if I'm not part of the solution, then for sure I'm part of the problem. Well, here's the thing. There is no I in team, but there is an I and a you in solution. It's going to take me and it's going to take you for the solution. And how do I know that a grassroots movement like this will help? Well, the best example that we have, the most recent example that we have that most of you are familiar with is called the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement is a grassroots movement where people were empowered to see something, say something. People were empowered to tattletale. People were entitled to say, this is enough and no more, you're not going to get away with it. And prosecutions, things were exposed, things were changed. And that's what I'm getting at today. And so what I want you to take away from today is a challenge. And that challenge simply is for you to say, just like I say, I'm the problem. And take this video and share it and forward it. And when you send it to somebody, you send it, but you also say, I'm the problem. And here's what I'm going to do to fix the problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to speak when I see something. I'm going to say something when I see something. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to do my part. I'm the problem, but now I'm going to be the solution. God bless you. Make it a great week as we move forward to honor God.